definition under our own system here. What is the key thing is control. Who ultimately has ability to appoint the manager other than the board members? Exercise control. So you'll be looking at who is the largest shareholder, dominant investor, what you call a core investor. If that is held by a family, then you can more or less say it's a family-controlled business. So that would be, but I do recognize the UK has a specific percentage. Now, in terms of the second question about communicate, how do you do so? As plain as it is, by communication means that you have audited financial statements of the company, and so there's communication in terms of the performance of the business. If there's going to be a new venture that it is told to the who are the shareholders and now your family or siblings, you treat them as shareholders who would have communicated to what your plans are, what your strategy, what you're about to go into, you're going into a new market. If they're board members, that you give them complete information. For those who are not, that you simply inform them of the performance of their company. That's what I mean by communication, so that they have facts and they don't buy their facts through grapevine or people who give them variations of what is going on.
Sorry if I may interrupt you. I think the communication he meant was how the second generation people tell the founders of the business that there's a need for succession planning and how to carry them. Am I correct? Yes. How do the founders of businesses adopt some of the things that you recommended? Because he said that some of them have carried on these businesses for 3 decades and it is thriving and flourishing, and then you're coming from business school or graduate school and you're trying to tell them about systems and structures.
Well, determining what is the power of your influence. If the founder still regards you as someone he can listen to, or regards you as someone who's still too young to tell him, it's a matter of influence now, in which case there's no defined structure. If you've learned some of the things we've talked about, how do you tell the initial founder that, Dad, it's about time you stopped going to the office, you're 70 now, we need to have a professional manager to step back. It's a matter of influence. That's what I'll leave it as. Influence and the respect that you have, as well as your approach, that you're able to convince him, and he doesn't see it sounding like the prodigal who says, I'm old enough, I want to take over. So it has to be a matter of approach and influence. I will just mention one thing and I'll leave the other questions. The issue of conflict resolution amongst family members and shareholders. This is one thing that can easily destroy the company. If there's a dispute between family members and they do not have a dispute resolution mechanism who to go to, chances are that they will go straight to court or play it out through some frustrations or lockouts or mechanisms or sabotage, or simply going to open a business in competition with the family. Many kinds of reactions. And this can easily destroy the company. There has to be some laid out patterns of dispute resolution, maybe through mediation, maybe to get somebody who can arbitrate it, somebody whom they all look up to, especially within the core of the family members. But without doing that, people will resort to adversarial ways of resolving disputes that will pronounce who the winner is and who the loser is, like a court system. And that even grant an injunction, maybe disbanding the board or stopping or removing the managing director, things that can sell to the public. People who hitherto gave you trade credits will decide that you are now a company from well and you've got bought or sold and you must pay back and not do anything for you. One last point before I drop this. Yes, how can you begin to pick up some of these things? Yes, by investing in the education that you get this morning from CBL and Rome Business School. I know that Harvard Business School has a program specifically for family businesses, but seeing that this thing we carry now is 500 naira now to the dollar, you're better off doing more of the programs with CBL. Maybe come back for Diet 2. So that will be all for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I quite agree with the prof that we don't have a definition for FOB in Nigeria, but the issue of name becomes very paramount, especially knowing who owns the business and who is there. I agree with my brother here who spoke about the Okada transition, the transition from the airline to the university. But then, on another dimension, it's a transition. The family is still in business, but I know that the university would not have employed the same set of people who were employed by the airline. And one other thing that you look at as a business consultant is that there is no reason why the airline should die. It's like when I had the news that aero contractor was grounded, I started within myself to analyze and to talk to friends in the same profession to ask, why will this happen to aero contractor? Because I knew when I was with USAID, for example, you don't fly any other airplane except aero contractor, and so many institutions like that. So what happened? So these are some of the questions that continue to bother on. Then the issue of transition and the fear of saying, oh, let us push this. In my church, we have a program. It's called Great is Thy Faithfulness. Once you are over 70 years, once in a year, that's after the Monday after Easter, put them together, get professionals like to come and talk to them about the issue of writing wills and about transition of their businesses and so on and so forth. So that, see, that's a church where you pray not to die, but again, in a way, the reality of the fact that, look, you can sleep one day and not wake up becomes higher as you attain this age. So it's important to make people, through some level of education, it may be at the church level, maybe at this level. It's important to, if we have fathers or parents who can benefit from this sort of program, let's begin to work towards bringing them to the platform so that they can understand what they're doing. And I think the question you asked about the store on the generational move, well, one or two things that will help you is to get a very